Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hold on just a second. Gotta get something sorted out here. And okay, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another installment of BrickWall Reviews. I'm Dave, and this is it's a little new. I'm doing this from my device, from my alternate device. If y'all been following the lore, then you guys know that I uh, am trying to get my whole laptop situation sorted out. So until then, I'm gonna be doing reviews a little bit differently, a little bit of a different font. There we go. All right, just trying to get my angle right though. That's really the only thing. But anyway, who cares? Oh wait. There we go. I kind of got it a little bit. Anyway, update. I spent a whole minute doing that. But anyway, I'm here right now to talk to y'all about the 30th anniversary of one of my favorite movies of all time. No, seriously, I know I say that about a lot of movies, but this one literally is one of my favorite, and probably is one of y'all favorites too, honestly. And that movie is a Goofy movie. That's right, because this year, well, matter of fact, this week at the time of this recording, a Goofy movie has celebrated 30 years. So it's its 30th anniversary. So big shout out to that movie. It came out April 7th, 1995. Yeah, I gotta say, this movie is something that I definitely used to watch it all the time on VHS. I had the VHS tape. It's something that when it was on TV, I was watching it. I always had the tape playing. And it's watching it recently, I realized that this movie has always been consistently one of the best movies I've ever watched. I've always had a really great time watching this movie. I always felt the emotion. I always felt the story. I always felt everything great about this movie. I've always loved it. And so I'm here to talk about, like I said, it's been 30 years. Fun factoid. For those of you who like behind the scenes types of things, there's an entire documentary now on Disney Plus called Not Just a Goof. It is pretty much about the making of a Goofy movie, how it came to be, some of the problems they faced, and what the effect that it has on fans nowadays is. So it's really exciting time, honestly. You know, Goofy movie, like I said, has always been in the spotlight, always been one of those things that's been talked about as a Disney movie. But what is it that has helped this movie kind of hold up for so long? I'm here to try to answer that, and also to give you my thoughts on this movie because I didn't get to talk about it. So before I go any further into this, though, I want to remind you guys, go ahead and hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. Man, speaking of which, I don't have my little banner ticking across the bottom. Hold on. I didn't even edit it. Oh, no. Oh, well. Well, listen. That aside, yeah, follow us on social media, all that good stuff. Keep up with everything that we're doing. I know over on Instagram I've been doing some mini reviews, just trying to keep up with dropping you guys some content. So yeah, so let's dive into this. So let me see. What can I say about this movie? So Goofy movie, it like I said, it was released in 1995. It is actually, for those of you who don't know, this movie is actually kind of the series finale for Goof Troop. So Goof Troop was the show that sorry, I had to fix something on here. Goof Troop was a show that aired on Toon Disney or regular Disney Channel, one of those two. And it was following the adventures of Goofy and his son Max, his neighbor Pete, pretty much, you know, all that, nothing like too, crazy or anything like that. In the show, Max was like a younger kid. I'll say like probably middle school age, probably. Goofy was always just trying to do right by his son in the show. So that's all I can really say, like at its core. So they made this movie to kind of be like somewhat of a follow-up to that, and because they were approached about making a feature film. And so, of course they wanted to, they went ahead and they made it. If you want to know more about the behind the scenes, go check out the documentary. I do suggest that. It's a really good watch, honestly. So Goofy wants to connect with his son Max, over through a road trip after finding out Max got in trouble in school. At the same time, Max finally gets to ask out the girl of his dreams, Roxanne, on a date to watch the Powerline concert. At another friend's house. At the same time, like I said, same time this happens, Goofy brings Max onto the road trip, and hijinks ensue while Max is trying to find out a way to get to where the concert's gonna actually be at, because he told Roxanne that he will be on TV on stage with Powerline, who was the artist that's having the concert. While trying to figure out how to get there, he's also got to figure out how to put up with his dad, who is Goofy of all people, right? He's got to figure out how to put up with his dad through his entire experience and not lose it. And Goofy, on the other hand, like I said, he's just trying to connect with his son. He's trying to figure out, he's doing this trip because he wants to bond with his son. He wants to figure out a way to get more involved in his son's life. He doesn't want to be left out or missing out on anything or not understanding why he got in trouble at school. And so, he just really wants to have that connection. While also kind of having Pete, his neighbor, kind of like in his ear, like, yo, you gotta have him under your thumb. It's about control. You gotta have him, Goof. Oh, Goof. Come on. But I know how to do a little bit of people. I ain't gonna do that. This movie stars Bill Farmer, longtime voice of Goofy, Jason Marsden, longtime voice of Max as a teenager. Then you got Jim Cummings as Pete, and Rob Paulson as PJ, because Pete and PJ, you got the same name. But Rob Paulson is PJ. You have Tevin Campbell doing the singing for Powerline. That's pretty much the entire cast. Honestly, it's a very small cast. Oh, Wallace Shawn is the principal, Max's principal at the school. So you do have a small, intimate cast and a small, intimate group of characters, but it makes this movie, it serves this movie very, very well. Let's see. One of the things that I really do enjoy about this movie, especially all these years later, hold on, is that B gets to come and talk about this film. What up, B?
Hola.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, here just talking about 30 years of the Goofy movie, as one does.
Cause yeah.
um, well, before I even dive any deeper into this Goofy movie talk, I want you to tell me, what is your experience with Goofy movie? Like, tell me, tell me what you feel.
With the Goofy movie, I love that it was a musical type uh
Mm-hmm.
movie. I'm obsessed. Not really obsessed, but I do love a good musical. It's catchy, especially the song by Powerline, Eye to Eye. It's still kind of relevant even to this day. Um, it I don't know. It's like a good family movie, even though it was showcasing like a single dad trying to raise his son. It still comes
Mhm.
off as like a really good family movie.
Okay, okay. I guess I gotta ask you why. Not gotta, but I guess I am gonna ask you. What is your earliest memory of seeing this movie? Because I remember seeing this on videotape. I don't even know the year really. I'm saying like maybe like 99 or something. I don't know, but I just remember watching this on videotape all the time, and like that just being the way I got into this movie. What was? Do you remember what your introduction and what your relationship with this movie has been over the past 30 years?
I watched this movie when it came out on video in 1995.
Oh wow! So it's the same year it was in theaters, because I do know that's one of the things they were saying in the documentary is that um it was pretty much released. It had a shortened theatrical window, because critics were talking very, very poorly about this, which we'll jump into later on. But yeah, so your experience. So I didn't even know it came out on VHS the same year it was released in theaters. That's very interesting, especially since that would be April. So wow, yeah, I didn't know it was that quick of a turnaround. So your
Yep.
experience with this movie was on VHS too.
It was bootleg.
Oh, bootleg. I wouldn't have admitted that. Hey man, sometimes you gotta, gotta be eye to eye
You gotta be
with the
cheap with a bunch
bootleg
of
man.
kids. Like,
Gotta stand out. Oh man. Yeah, so I guess what I was saying pretty much about the Goofy movies, that's everything I think I couldn't have said about a Goofy movie. I'm kind of going to turn this over a little bit more to you, B, before I give my thoughts to how I feel about this movie. Like, you mentioned that you do like it a lot because of the musical aspect of it and the whole family dynamic, how it makes a really good family film. What else about this movie do you think has made it something that you enjoy? Like, what is this like? Is this like one of your favorites? Is this something that you hold in a certain regard? Like, what else is what's what? Let's get a little deeper on that relationship between this movie.
uh, I wouldn't say. I mean, I guess I would say it's a very loved movie for me. Not necessarily one of my favorites, but it's definitely a very loved movie because it uh, kind of, I guess, resonates with the black community.
Nah, I was waiting for you to say it.
You know,
No, it
resonates with
does. It does, and we've
the.
heard that story, especially in recent years with the episode of Atlanta, where they talked about the Goofy movie and its making. Um, take from that what you will is all I'll say. Um, but yeah, no, this movie is very much, oddly enough, very much rooted in Black culture, and is very it's fascinating because I guess I would have to do some digging into that, but I don't even really know where that could have started.
I'm not sure either, but it's like it's also very different, a different take on being a single parent because you usually see a single mom, not necessarily a single dad.
Right, right,
So it shows a different perspective on how to raise a kid, and it's kind of like no one really knows, and you
right,
trying to just connect with your child, but you don't really know how. Because it's like our well, kids, they look at their parents like, oh, look at this ancient creature. Like, you don't know anything that's going on. Like, but I'm sure there was a power line when Goofy was growing up.
right. And that's one of the things I do like about this, especially you just mentioned Goofy and how some of these experiences could have related to him, and part of the reason why he's doing this fishing trip. Wow, I just got my words mixed up. Part of the reason he's doing this fishing trip with Max is because that's something that his father did with him, and
Right.
that was the way that he bonded and connected with his father. And seeing that in this movie, I think you know where I'm gonna get to eventually. I'm gonna land that plane eventually, B. I know you're waiting for it. I'll get there when I get there, but I want to be a little serious right now before I jump into that.
Mhm.
Nah, yeah, and that I think that really lends to just with seeing Goofy doing something that's passed down. It's really cool because one of the things that I think a lot of people have resonated with and do enjoy about this movie is the fact that this is a really good depiction of the character of Goofy. You see him angry, you see him sad, you see him just trying his best, and you still do see him as Goofy the Goof, and one of the things I can honestly say that I enjoyed about this interpretation of Goofy, like I think I was telling you earlier, this is my introduction to Goofy. This is Goofy. Like, yeah, I know Goofy acts, yeah, and like, all the
Mhm.
crazy slapstick gimmicks. Of course, I know that. Like, that's part of the major reason I love him. Don't get that wrong. I love the slapstick, but this movie gave Goofy like this moment of like, and I remember just even when I was watching it today, I was thinking back to like when I was younger, like what was I thinking when I watched this? That's why I like to think about sometimes when I watch like movies that I grew up on and have nostalgia for. I like to kind of think when I watched this as a kid, what drew me to this? What made me like this? Because it's not like I was, let's call a spade a spade. 95, I was only but so many years old It's not like I was sitting there, and I knew a Goofy cartoon from a Mickey cartoon. It's not like I knew a Bugs or a Daffy, so to speak. Like I had a very limited knowledge on these characters and their place in pop culture and the media and that stuff like that. I had no idea. So I'm seeing this and I'm just like, oh, that's Goofy from silly cartoons. And I'm like, wow, this is actually a really good character because it's just, even as an adult, it's like watching this character of Goofy, of all Disney characters, Goofy, be given so many more layers to his character. And
Mm.
I think that that's something that I enjoy because it resonates with you no matter what age you are, because you still see, yeah, this is Goofy, but wow, this is who Goofy is, and he's just trying to do the right thing. And another thing about this movie in general is that connecting with it on both sides. So like I can connect with it younger with Max and saying like, okay, I see why Max acted like that. I definitely understand. Like I wouldn't want to go on that trip either. How Goofy gonna drag him out there? Oh, Max changed the map. I mean that was sneaky, but I get why you did what you did. You want the girl. Like so we can kind of understand Max and we can understand Goofy. And it's not like we ever pick a side. It's like we see both sides. We even see what Pete's saying about keep Max under your thumb. Like it's very interesting how you can relate to every character and their ideologies throughout the movie, and that's something I noticed as well today. So it's it was very very interesting to notice that those things were always so great in this movie. I don't know. What about you? Is there anything that you noticed that's always stuck out and always kind of stood the test of time? Should I say?
With so definitely the whole idea of the road trip and just going, and you have a destination, but it's the memories you make along the way.
Right.
So I just like that it was like a very dated, it stuck to the date that that it was made. Like you had the road map, you had the him Max being the co-pilot. Like you don't they don't kids don't do that anymore. Like you don't have those type of trips anymore with your parents. So it's like a very nostalgic thing for people who have actually done that or been a part of that, even if you were in the back seat.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, no, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I got distracted by the background saying it has to be done. I was like, it has to be done. What has to be done? The road trip has to be done. Like, is
Yeah,
this a
exactly.
sign?
That's what it was telling you. It has to be done. Grab a map, get a co-pilot, and just go.
No, but yeah, one of like it's no, I agree. It's very good that this kind of stuck to not trying to be something that was gonna try to be updated or try to be ahead of the curve with technology. Like it was just like, hey, Goofy, grab a map, grab your son, go on this road trip, and it's things that are timeless. Like it's timeless. Even today, you can still grab a map and drive like that. Yeah, we got GPS, but if you want to take it back to the basics, you can. You have that option. Fishing trips are still a thing. People still do go on fishing trips, camping trips, road trips to reconnect with your kid. You go take them somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It's just you and them. You know what I'm saying? Like those things are still very relevant to today. Especially
Mhm.
doing it because you're like, oh my God, my kid's in trouble. Like, I don't know what to do. They're acting out. Maybe it's me. Maybe I don't understand them. How can I bond with them? Oh, I'll take us out somewhere and we'll bond. And this will work. And I'll get them to open up to me and I'll understand. You know,
Mhm.
and that brings me to one of the so people out there, this movie does make me cry
Mhm.
nearly every time I watch it. And I don't watch it all the time. Like now, I've definitely spaced out how many times I watch it in like a 5 year time span. I think the last time I saw this was like maybe 2 years ago. 2, 3 years ago, I watched this, and
Mhm.
my kids were younger than they are now, obviously. Um, But I'm watching it and I'm just like, yo, I get, like I said earlier, I get where Goofy's coming from. I understand he's just trying to be a good dad. He's
Mm.
trying to figure this out. Like this is tough. And so I got a little emotional from that. Today I got emotional over several different parts of the movie. It's like the perfect cast part. I got emotional over that because Goofy only showed Max the perfect cast one time. Max performed the perfect cast and saved Goofy's life. Like that's such a view. Like I never realized that's why Goofy was proud of him. Not just because he learned to do it, not just because he did it, because I showed it to you once. Once. Like that blew my mind. Um, Another part of it that also kind of stuck out is even when Goofy had made Max the navigator, and he was like, "Yo, from this point, you're in charge of everything from here to our destination. You pick the stops." And I didn't catch it all these years. I never caught it, but that whole montage they have where they're going different places, I'll be dumb. Max picked those places out. Like that wasn't just a random montage. That was there, and that whole montage was them bonding through Max picking out different places. At first, he was picking out things that only he wanted to do. Then he saw his dad wasn't always having a good time, so he picked something that his dad would want to do. And then they kind of like started picking stuff to do together. And then part of that montage. I know y'all think like, damn, you really think about this movie, right? But like at 30 years now, is when they were changing the tire at first, they both don't know what to do. Then they're kind of working together, but not really. But then when they finally fixed the tire, they did it together. They used teamwork. I don't know, man. Just think about that. Blew my mind. That's that. I think that's the thing about a classic movie. I don't know. I'm taking the spotlight. You got anything on that before I start getting all, as they say, goofy?
You said a lot. So which part?
Any of it? Pick, cherry pick.
uh, the bonding part. So I really liked I really liked how they started to bond, and there were like certain moments in the car, like um when they would Max would just look over at his dad, and I don't know, it kind of makes you think, like, as a kid, does your child look at you sometimes like, okay, they're getting old, but they're kind of annoying type thing. And that's kind of like Max would look at him with like this look of endearment but annoyance at the same time. So I kind of like that, and it makes me even think of my own children, of like, do they sometimes look at me like that's my mom, but she's kind of annoying,
Right.
but I love her definitely.
Yeah, and that's definitely a big part of this movie too. Especially on one of the big emotional moments where, Max is like, I have my own life, and Goofy's just like, I know, I just want to be a part of it. And I'm not gonna lie, that part got me too. That part got me good today. That got me real good today. It did. My kids are getting older, and I'm just like, I'm watching the movie like, yo, just gotta count the days. Just gotta count the days. Maybe some Goofy.
Yeah, like it'll get there. It'll definitely get there. Have you
Yeah,
thinking.
man.
And then it's like, did you ever thought of like how you may have looked at your parents like that at one point? It's like they're getting older now, and it's like,
Right. This movie this movie resonates so well with just like the father son dynamic, or just father daughter, father anybody dynamic. I think this movie does do a really good service for a fatherhood relationship, um,
definitely.
which is really interesting to say because when I watched the documentary, not just the goof, which is the behind the scenes of the movie, it pretty much all of the writers, story directors, things like that. They a lot of them um they said they didn't really have relationships with their dads. Like some of their dads disappeared when they were younger. Some of them were having trouble reconnecting or connecting with their own children. And I said that, and I started laughing when I said that because, like, it's funny in a sweet way because it's really like a whole bunch of people just wrote this movie or made this movie, created this film, and were just like, yeah, no, I just miss my dad, bro. Like, I just miss him. That's all. Like that. Like, and then like a couple of people they did reconnect with their fathers after like many years. One guy was like over like 20, 30 years or something like that. Like the last time we saw their
Mm.
dad, they weren't even a teenager yet. And it's like after the movie came out, they reconnected with their dad. Like, like they were working on it, was like, I gotta go find my dad, man. And someone was like, I gotta connect with my kid. Yeah, yeah. And we planned the vacation. Like, even the making of this movie, the studio head at the time was inspired, had got a little inspiration from wanting to do a road trip with his daughter. And he was having trouble connecting with her. And said, yo, that would be kind of an interesting thing to address in a movie like that. Like, that would be kind of an interesting spin to put on things. And it's like this movie is really made from people who wanted to connect with their kids and wanted their parents to connect with them. And I think
Mhm.
that I find that funny in a sweet way because that's exactly what makes this movie so great. Like we keep mentioning, it's just the comedy is great, the story is great, the songs are good. The songs are good. We'll talk about the songs. Um, but it's that heart, it's that core, it's that thing that really has this movie stand the test of time. It's just that the relationship and the
Mhm.
the fact that they were able to give Goofy of all characters, Goofy, this much. Like Goofy's known more for being a good dad than he is for being a goof, and that's
Mhm.
amazing to me. Like all because of a 1995 hour and a half long film that still resonates with people to this day. It's amazing. It's really amazing. I don't know. What do you think about that tidbit of information I just revealed to the world who didn't watch the documentary or read my text?
Of of that dads are reconnecting with their kids.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. It's no, that's really good though. Like that's it's like I had the thought process earlier of okay, that conversation between them is, and I will say my direct quote.
Please do. Please do.
And they said when they come home, "Hey son, I just went out to get some milk 15 years ago, but I watched the Goofy movie and got to the store and realized you didn't even like milk. So here I am." Like,
No, and I mean, this movie worked magic on people, man, and it's so interesting that part of that magic of the dad thing, and that makes it even more interesting that this is such a staple, somewhat of a staple in the Black community. That's what makes it even more interesting. Um, it's like wow, like, really, like movie,
it's like,
really seriously.
but with that, it's like uh in the Black community, if you choose to express yourself in a different way, which is what initially Max was doing when he was performing as Powerline in the lunchroom or auditorium of the school, and
Mhm.
then his principal said, "Oh, he's causing a ruckus, he's having gang activity." And that's what kind of got Goofy in the mode of, okay, I need to take him somewhere so that he can, we can have a bonding trip and I can get through to him.
Right, right, because he didn't want his son to end up in jail or in the electric chair.
Right. So it's like, in our community, when we do have some type of expression of whether it's um through song, through dance, it's not looked at as a celebration by people who don't resonate with our culture, us culturally.
Right, right. It's very I don't know, it's just very interesting. Like even watching it today, I'm like, yo, what was it that really made this outside of those things? Like what was it that really made this movie resonate with other black people? And what is it that does that? And I haven't really dived into that. Like I said, I haven't dived into it because it's something that in recent times just keep coming up. I mentioned the episode of Atlanta, where they practically said a black guy just created this movie. Again, go watch the episode of Atlanta. It was great. Um,
I think it's also the choice of coloring. Cause in during the 90s, you had a lot of Disney movies that came out, and the main characters were of lighter skin. You know, so
yeah, but well, go ahead.
Goofy and Max were more so on the brown side.
I can't even really support that because it's like I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like I'm watching this movie today, and I'm thinking about it. Like even when I even outside of watching the movie, like even watching the documentary, I'm looking at these parts of the movie. And I'm thinking about like how did we get here? Like how did black people how did the black community come to love this film? Not maybe not love, but how did the black community come to appreciate this film in a way that all nearly all of us saw it as a kid, and nearly all of us deemed this as one of our favorite movies, or one of our most enjoyable movies.
Mhm.
Like, how did that happen? Like, it's very interesting. And one of the things I think it had to do with is the fact that Tevin Campbell did a couple of songs, especially the most notable song, "Eye to Eye," which we talked about a little bit earlier. Doubling back on that, um, yeah, between "Stand Out" and "Eye to Eye," it's just like those are really two really good songs. Two really good songs performed by Tevin Campbell, who I don't know too much about his career, but I would imagine that was around the time
Can
where
we
he was.
talk?
No, I'm saying like
Oh.
his career timeline, his career timeline.
Oh.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like obviously, Can We Talk was probably out, most likely out before this movie. That was his big hit. But like, where was his career at the time? You know what I'm saying? Like in
Okay.
relation to like, yeah, that's what I meant. Like, yeah, everybody know that song.
Okay,
Don't
I
try to
thought you
play
were
me
talking
like
about
that.
I don't know much about Tevin Campbell, and I'm like, excuse
I mean, outside
me?
of Can We Talk, and the fact that he's a very small, very skinny black man at the time, at least, I don't know where this landed in his career. Like, what was he doing? Was he like a
uh,
at the time, was he an award-winning artist? Was he working on a second album or something? So that's very interesting. But regardless of that, you got Tevin Campbell in this movie doing two of the most iconic songs in Disney history. As a matter of fact, I mean, anytime you hear those chords, dun 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 dun, like you already know what time it is.
ooh,
Dun dun dun. Dun, 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 dun. Like it's that song is so good, and that sequence, eye to eye, the eye to eye sequence, is just so
mhm.
amazing. It's catchy. Seeing them do the perfect cast of the dance move, like just seeing all that play out is just really cool. Like the yeah, it's really cool. And then in the behind the scenes, in the not just the Goof documentary, they actually I would have never guessed this. They actually had dancers come in and choreograph a dance to that, recorded the dance, and pretty much used that as reference for the animation on those
Mhm.
sequences. So it's very I mean, they had like somebody who danced how Goofy would dance with it. They had someone dance like how Max would dance with it, and they had someone dance like how Powerline would dance with it. And they even had a couple people background dancers just so they can have the whole thing animated and reference for the animation. I thought that was really interesting. That was really interesting. Um, where are you at with the songs though? Like, how did you like? Does is Eye to Eye one of your more recognizable Disney songs, or like how do you?
Oh,
What's your?
definitely. Definitely.
Mhm,
That's more one of the more recognizable. Even Stand Out is one of the more recognizable Disney songs.
mhm.
They get me more Like I would definitely blast them on the radio in my car more better before I blast, say, "Let It Go." Okay.
Right, right, right.
I like how they're very upbeat. The piano keys in there just make it
Yeah,
like it just makes it a
and
very enjoyable song or
it
very
does.
enjoyable songs.
And Tevin Campbell's voice is, I'm not gonna hold you. And we listen to each other.
Exactly.
Like, come on, like he killed it. He killed it. Um,
And also during that time in his career, because yes, I looked it up.
okay, thank you.
Uh, he was actually doing very big things. Not even gonna hold you. He had been on. He had just come off of the soundtrack for a low down dirty shame.
Mm-hmm.
He was on. He was in a super group known as Black Men United that included Usher. He was on Janet Jackson's world tour.
Wow.
Right. He had recurring roles in different shows like The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, New York Undercover. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Uh, what else? He had just come off of a Grammy win at that time.
Oh wow.
Right. Not well, nominations at least for 3 Grammy awards at that time. So he was not
He's doing pretty
slacking,
well for himself. Yeah.
huh? Yeah.
I say, yeah, he's doing it. So, so again, this still falls in line with the fact that Disney is always able to get some type of an artist to come in and give them some banger songs for some of their best movies. You know,
Definitely.
here's a really fun fact about this movie too that I absolutely adore this fact. Not that it really means much, but it's the fact that this is not a Walt Disney Animation Studios movie. So it's not counted in there with like the Princess and the Frog and Frozen and your Sleeping Beauty and Aladdin. It's not part of those movies. This is
Hmm.
a separate wing of the Disney. I think Disney Toon Studios is the one that is the wing of Disney that produced this film. Despite that, people have been campaigning for quite some time. I don't know if they're still active campaigning, but people have been campaigning or have campaigned before to have this movie indoctrinated into the 100 Disney films that are out, or well, over 100 Disney movies are 100 or over. How many Disney movies are? I think it's like 50 something, and they just did 100 years. So it's people want it to be considered one of those movies because it's good. And and I think that that's something that the Disney company now sees, because you see them always putting a lot of money in the in the Goofy movie. They're always promoting it somehow. This 30th anniversary has been pretty big so far. They've
Listen, the
had.
launch of the merchandise itself. I don't know if you've been to the Disney store online. They have like a Powerline backpack. It's got like the 90s metallic gold feel to it, look to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah. No,
Disney's
they've launched that merchandise hard, and I've went to a convention and I saw it was both Bill Farmer and Jason Marsden, the voices of Goofy and Max, were there, and you should have seen how many people were in that panel. You know what I'm saying? Just to hear them talk about the Goofy movie, hear them talk about their experience. Like, it's very fascinating how many people still to this day will flock to anything that says Goofy movie.
hmm
And how much that movie come up, especially, and now here we get into the critical side of it. Especially given the fact that critics at the time completely did not respect this movie at all. I mean, they called it dull. They called it unentertaining. They just kind of like bashed this bad boy. To
hmm
the point where Disney was just like, "Yo, we're gonna shorten the theatrical release now. We're gonna pull it early from theaters," and it got pulled. And in the documentary, the creators are just like, "Yeah, we were sad. We were upset about it. It was like, wow, like." I mean, on the bright hand, we made this movie, but it got pulled early because people didn't like it, and we couldn't believe that people were that harsh towards it. And um, turn around, they was like, then all of a sudden one day it just like the age of the internet came around, and when the internet came around, YouTube came around, people started coming around talking about reviews and doing all this stuff. Um, Goofy movie was in a lot of conversations, and they played clips from people saying like, "Yo, I don't know what was wrong with people back then. This movie's amazing." So you have this new life that got breathed into it, and now this movie has a million new legs to walk on. And I think that that's very fascinating because I myself do agree. This is a very good movie. It's not just not my nostalgia talking. It's not none of that. I thought about how I felt about this movie as a kid. I thought about how I feel about this movie now. I thought about how I felt about this movie in between years. This is a consistently good film no matter when you watch it.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. Like it's a good movie is a good movie, and this is a good movie. It's great. I like it. I really enjoy it. The songs, I have parts that I remember cracking up at as a kid. The part with Bigfoot when he was like, ah, 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 ah,
Mm-hmm.
still alive. Like that part had me cracking up. I was thinking about that today. Like, yo, me and my cousins used to crack up watching that part. Like, and then just all of it. Like, even with Goofy falling off the cliff. Spoiler alert for a 30-year-old movie. No, he doesn't die, but I remember sitting there watching that every time, like, oh my God, they're gonna kill Goofy. Like, like it's like I'm like, yo, this movie really had us on the edge of our seats. Like, oh my God, no, Goofy, like, save him, Max. Like, and it's such a and then Roxanne, oh man, I wish I remember who voiced Roxanne, but yeah, Roxanne was just like at first, and
Movie
you talk
crush.
about
Cartoon movie crush.
listen, no, I'm saying like talk about shift in perspective because at first you're like, oh yeah, she's a really popular girl, she's real cute and stuff like that. He wants her, he didn't have no chance, and like he's actually getting her to then realizing like, yo, she was just as nervous about
Mm-hmm.
the date as he was. Like it was equal. It wasn't like, oh, she was popular or she was doing like verbal manipulation. Like she was upset that he potentially was canceling the date on her. Like she was really upset. What she said was out of hurt. Like, damn, like they gotta make up an excuse to not want to hang with me. I get it. Like I was excited about this, now I'm doing look dumb. I'll just go with somebody else. It's fine. Like it was a really sweet, like they're a really sweet love story, man. That's gonna be one of my t-shirts. Is gonna have Max and Maxine on it. Oh, Roxanne,
Maxine.
rather. Max and Maxine. Max and Roxanne on there. Yeah, I know. I just looked at that t-shirt that had it on there. I really do want that shirt. It's really nice. Really dope. But yeah, man, like just stuff like that, So and even the other guy, the cheese guy, Leaning Tower Cheese, like
Mm.
that guy was funny as hell. Like, hey, Prince, how's it going? Like, it's just so freaking. It was funny,
And
man.
he was voiced by
Pauly Shore.
Pauly Shore,
Pauly
who
Shore. Pauly
was
Shore.
also a '90s icon around that time.
I do remember. I do remember that. I do remember they said, how the few people they got to add in, we're doing pretty well at the time. I do remember that much.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. Is there anything else that you want to say about this? I tend to go on anniversary years for movies. So,
Right.
is there anything you have to say about
I just love that this movie is still relevant to this day and that it still resonates so much with the Black community. Um, and please, for the love of God, do not try to remake this movie.
it? No, it
And
doesn't. No, it does not. I thought about it. I thought about different ways. I'm like, if they were to update this movie, could they do anything that could they do anything
no,
that could improve it? And the answer is no. It's
please
fine
do not do a remake.
just the way it is. It's a Goofy movie
Nobody
is
asked for
perfectly fine.
that.
Nobody asked for it. Like Goofy is an amazing dad. We get that. Goofy has the I mean, and So here's another fun fact too. If you want to find out the continuation of Goofy and Max's relationship as they continue, you have an extremely goofy movie in which Max goes off to college. You want the follow up to that? Watch Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas, which I talked about here on the channel once. And there's a segment in which Max is coming home to visit Goofy from college. Watch it. It adds to this. And you want to go backwards, watch Goof Troop, watch Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, has a little bit of lore there. And there's one other thing. So, as a small tidbit, there's an episode of DuckTales that has Goofy in it, and Goofy does mention Max. It's small, but it is very much enough to just add that little extra bit of Goofy being an amazing fucking dad. Because, like, damn, the man did this shit by himself, bro. Like, the man did this shit. Like, I don't know. It's really good. This movie's amazing. So it's great.
Mhm.
But I don't know. You anything else additional to add, B, before I get into the ratings?
I just have a question. Did
Yes.
Pete had a wife?
Yes. Pete had a wife who did not appear in the movie. She was one of the characters that was cut from the Goof Troop mythology. But yes,
Mhm.
Pete does have a wife. As to their relationship in the movie, I would assume that she definitely had a say in because Pete also has a daughter. Pete has PJ, a daughter, and his wife.
Mm,
Yeah, so I would assume that
I would
she
say
kind of
that.
encouraged that trip for him and PJ.
I was just asking because it would have been interesting to see, the different perspectives on single fatherhood. But yeah.
Yeah, well, so that's the interesting thing. That's another interesting thing about this movie too, is that it doesn't. I didn't know it had anything to do with Goof Troop until like years later. I had no idea.
Mm,
I wasn't a big fan of Goof Troop. Like I knew it existed. I loved Goofy. It just wasn't a show that I really got into. This movie
mhm,
stands on its own to the point where you can say Goof Troop has nothing to do with this movie, and you can say that with a straight face. You can ignore everything about Goof Troop and you can look at it that way as Pete being a single dad and having his way of raising PJ versus Goofy being a single dad and having his way of raising Max. And the way that both of their ways of parenting is not necessarily wrong. You
mhm,
know what I'm saying? But there's no right answer to it. And that's parenthood in a nutshell, right? Like you can, oh man, this movie gets crazy. Um, you can have the big tough under my thumb regime with your kid, or
mhm,
you can have the hey, I just know my kid's a good kid and I trust him and I love him. You can have both. There's no right answer, but does one service the other? Yes. Does the other service the one? Yes. They both serve each other in raising a kid. Just who knows which one is the better approach. So, I mean, this is another way to look at this movie and why every couple of years when I watch it, I get amazed by the things I didn't realize. So, I don't know, something.
hmm.
I said, I don't know, that's something. That's something. Um, but yeah, I guess we can go on jumping over into the ratings before I discover six different things about this movie, and we're here all night. Um, like I said, critically, I believe now it sits at like a 63% on Rotten Tomatoes, 63 or 65 right now. Um, Me personally, I give this movie and listen, guys, this is not my nostalgia talking. I've had all day to sit with this. I'm giving this movie, I give it a 4.9 out of 5 stars. And I give that very highly. That's a very high 4.9. It's something that like I said, it just does not, it doesn't get worse as you watch it over the years. It just gets better. never seen a movie that just gets better every time you watch it. I've seen movies that give you a different perspective every time you watch it, or you understand something differently every time you watch it. But for something to just get better, actively get better every time I watch it, and it's not like I watch it every day. Every couple of years I see this movie, and it just gets better every time. Um, yeah, I give it 4.9, high 4.9. That's my rating for it. What about you, B? Out of 5 stars, what do you give it?
I would give it a 4.
A 4?
4 out of
Okay,
5.
okay.
A lot of good memories.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
yeah, that's why I would give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I mean that's really it, man. I mean, 30 years later, a Goofy movie still resonates highly, not just with fans and people's nostalgic crowd. It relates to everybody. It's everybody loves this movie still. Everyone who's seen it loves it. I haven't met one person who's disliked this movie, and if there are people who dislike it, then to each your own. I would love to maybe one day talk to somebody about why they don't like the movie. That would be pretty interesting. Just why not? But yeah, so that's it. Happy 30th anniversary to a Goofy movie. Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Here's to the next 30. Um, yeah, I think that's it. Goofy movie is now available to stream on Disney Plus. Make sure you check it out if you haven't seen it in a long time, or if you somehow have never seen it, or if you just I didn't even know it was on Disney Plus. Now you know. And as well as the documentary, not just a goof, which is the making of a documentary of a Goofy movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's also available on Disney Plus. Make sure you check that out. And yeah, I think that's it. I've got like a third thing to say, but I can't remember what it was. Um, yeah, but that's it. That's all I have to say, guys. So thank you all for tuning in. I know we were here for a bit longer than I expected, but this has been great. Keep coming back here. I got more reviews loaded up, ready to go. Just got to drop them. But yeah, do you got any closing words for the people before we sign off?
No,
All right, just remember, if you miss your dad,
he'll come back with the
if you
milk.
want to, if you want to, you want to connect with your kid,
Use words that they know, like skibbity and bussin'.
but don't be too wild with it. Just you want to see eye to eye.
Right.
Yeah. It's like we see eye to eye with you when you hit that subscribe button, follow us on social media, and comment down below. How do you feel about this movie? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Is it nostalgic for you? How do you feel? Do you somehow understand its relation to the Black community? If you're that type of person, let us know in the comments down below. Let us know what you think. But until next time, y'all, be easy, stay breezy. Um, Peace.